Good day, mate. Welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root and welcome back to another Euro 2024 fantasy video. So in this video, to be honest, I wanted to do two videos before the deadline, but I just kind of ran out of time. So what I've done, I've made a bumper video. It's just going to have all the information you're going to need for this match day, for match day 6. It's the semi-finals, and we've got Spain versus France, and then we've got the Netherlands versus England. So first of all, I'm going to take you through the best possible wildcard draft you can build, because I know a lot of you are on your wildcards. And then I'll take you through my team selection, my transfers, my captaincy picks, and we'll go from there. If you do end up liking this video, please smash a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's get into it.
Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game. Where fantasy Premier League runs in its veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top. Guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wildcards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
So we will start off in goal, and I have gone for Jordan Pickford and Mike Maignan, the France goalkeeper. Obviously, Jordan Pickford does have the Netherlands, so I decided to go for a keeper on the opposite side of the draw. I know you could argue that if you are playing your wild card, you could just put basically two keepers on the same side of the draw, and then that way you're guaranteed a goalkeeper for the final. But for me, I do fancy my chances on getting at least one of these through to the final. And I feel like if one of them doesn't perform well, you could potentially, I guess, gamble and then go on to Pickford from Maignan instead. So the reason I've gone for them is obviously England are typically good in tournaments at being defensively. Pickford's kept a clean sheet in match day 1, gets another one in match day 3. Obviously hasn't done that in the knockout stages, but I do think England kind of have the easiest game out of any team. I think Spain v France is incredibly tough for both of them, and I think the Netherlands is going to be tough for England. So I think it's a bit more, I guess, a bit more of a gap than Spain v France is. So that's why I've gone for Jordan Pickford. Maignan, I've gone for him because France defensively are a joke. 1-0 first game, 0-0 second game, 1-0 fourth game, 0-0 in the fifth game. And to be honest, they've just built everything they've done in this tournament on their defence, and that's why I've gone for Maignan. Try and get his clean sheet in nice and early in the first game of the match day, and then hopefully we won't even need to bring in Pickford. But that's why I've gone for these two. Let's get on to the defence. So with the defence, I have gone for a double up on the France defence because I've got Koundé and I've got Maignan. The reason I've gone for Koundé is, again, France's defence is so good. Also, the fact that he's only 5 million and his ball recoveries are actually ridiculous. He's kept the most in the whole game. He's absolutely smashing them. He got 9 points in the game against Portugal where he got a clean sheet, 9 ball recoveries. In the match against Belgium in the last 16, he got 7 ball recoveries and player of the match, 7 in match day 3, and then 9 in match day 1. So he's doing very well for ball recoveries, and that's why I've gone for Koundé. Next up, John Stones and Mark Gahey. So Stones is not the, I guess, the most exciting pick. He's 5 million. His ball recoveries are not that great. But I feel like I do want to double up on that England defence, and I think he's probably the most nailed, and he's going to be one of the cheapest as well, apart from Gahey himself. And Gahey does come back in. He obviously did miss the game against Switzerland because of suspension, so he's back, he's fresh. His ball recoveries are very good as well, and obviously he did get that assist as well against Slovakia. So I don't expect him to get too many attacking returns, but yeah, we know he can be dangerous from set pieces, but it's mainly for his ball recoveries. You want to bring in Mark Gahey. Also gone for De Vrij. So I know a lot of people out there did go for Van Dijk and Dumfries and people like that. I actually did, from my round of 16 wildcard, go for De Vrij, and what a move it's been. 9 points against Romania with a clean sheet, 9 ball recoveries, and then 12 points against Turkey. Goal scored, 3 ball recoveries, and a player of the match. So yeah, really happy with him, and I think he's probably the best Netherlands defender to go for, and he's only 5 million as well. And then I've gone for Marc Cucurella for Spain. To be honest, I don't love Spain's defence. They obviously conceded against Germany in the quarterfinals, conceded against Georgia in the round of 16, but they did obviously keep 3 clean sheets in the group stage. So it's a bit of a tough one, but I think at 4.5 million, where kind of Cucurella plays, he kind of drops into midfield a lot. Spain are going to be the most attacking team probably in this whole semi-finals in both games. So I really did want an attacking fullback, and that's why I've gone for Cucurella. And again, 4.5 million, he is an absolute bargain. Overall, you could argue that I'm probably a bit too heavy on England defence, considering they haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 2 knockout games. But for me, I do fancy them to go through against the Netherlands more than I fancy Spain or France or Netherlands to go through, if that makes sense. I think England have the best game on paper. It's just basically, can they get through that? Can they even keep a clean sheet? Fingers crossed they do, because obviously I do want them to win. But other than that, I've kind of split it up between the other teams and maybe slightly led to a kind of push on the France defence, because I do think they are so solid defensively. Anyway, let's get on to the midfield. So next up, I have the midfield, and again, I've got double England in midfield. I don't think I am being too biased. I just don't think there are many of the Netherlands and France midfielders, to be totally honest with you. You could argue Kante is an option, which I do actually really like Kante, and you could probably argue that someone like Xavi Simons is an option as well. But for me, I think Spain and England have the best midfielders, so that's why I've decided to go for them. And obviously Saka has seen how good he can be in his last game against Switzerland, where he did obviously get that goal and player of the match as well, and obviously an extra point for outside the box. So I'm really, really happy with bringing Saka in, even if he does play right wing back, which I do expect him to play. I think he's still threatening on that side, and potentially playing right wing back would mean he does get more ball recoveries, but again, I wouldn't be holding out for that. Jude Bellingham is also in the team. To be honest, I know he's got 2 goals, but I don't love his performances so far. But I feel like in these big games, he does step up, and we've seen him step up for Real Madrid, and I think he will step up for England. So that's why I've decided to go for Jude Bellingham. Also, the 3 Spain midfielders. We'll start off with Rodri. So obviously not the typical fantasy football option, but I think with this game, you do get the ball recoveries, and with these kind of tight games, and I feel like this will be a tight game, I feel like it will be won in midfield. Kante v Rodri, and Rodri also potentially is on penalties. I feel like there's a man of the match in there if Spain do go through and Rodri does dictate that midfield. But again, he's a goal in there for him. There's player of the matches in there, as we've seen with Kante as well. But I think it's 50-50 to be honest. But with this one, I have gone for Rodri. Dani Olmo is in next as well. So a player that has done so well this tournament, and most of it has been off the bench. He did start Matchday 3, his first time starting in the tournament, where he did get an assist. He came off the bench and scored against Georgia in the round of 16. And he came off the bench for Pedri early on and got an assist, got a goal, got 3 ball recoveries and player of the match for 14 points. So for me, Pedri is now out, I'm pretty sure, for the rest of the tournament. So Dani Olmo is going to start, and he looks so good when he does start. And at 7.5 million, I think he's an absolute bargain and a massive differential as well. He's 24% owned, which again doesn't sound like a differential, but in this game, it kind of is a differential, because I feel like a lot of them, transfers have just come in. So for me, I still think some people might not actually go with him, but for me, he is the best option in this midfield to bring in, because he is going to play that number 10 role for Spain. Also gone for Nico Williams. We've seen what he can do against Georgia, goal and assist, and pretty much unlucky not to get player of the match in that game, but he did get it against Italy. And for me, he does look very good. Obviously, there's a bit of a thing where he does get taken off quite early. 67 minutes in Matchday 1, 78 minutes in Matchday 2, and 80 minutes in Matchday 5. But again, this is a semi-final. I think it's going to be a tight game, and I can see him staying on for most of the game. And again, 7 million is a very good price, and does allow you to go for a few big hitters up front. Overall, Could argue that it's too much Spain, too much England, but for me, they have the best midfielders that is left in the tournament. Again, you could argue Xavi Simons or Kante could be in there, but other than that, you're struggling, to be totally honest with you. Let's get on to the forwards. So next up, we do have the forwards and players that have done well in previous tournaments, but probably disappointed in this tournament. Players that have not done that well for their club in the previous season, but have absolutely smashed this tournament. And we will start with that player. So Cody Gakpo, he's now 7.7 million, and he's gone up in price. He's 39% owned, so more people are owning him as the deadline comes close. And these are the most owned forwards. So if you do want to go for a differential, I can name a few. Probably a Morata is probably the best place to go, and maybe a Depay could be a good option to go for. But for me, I do think these are the three best mid forwards to go for. Harry Kane, 11 million as well. Only got 2 goals so far and hasn't really shown anything in terms of performance. But like I said, Cody Gakpo is probably the most exciting out of these three, which is incredible to say considering we've got Harry Kane, Bundesliga top goal scorer, Kylian Mbappe, absolute sensation for club and country. But it's Cody Gakpo that I'm most excited about to have in my team, even though I do have a lot of England defenders. I think if Netherlands are going to score, it's going to involve him because of what we've seen so far this tournament. A goal and player of the match in Matchday 1, a goal in Matchday 3, an assist and a goal in Matchday 4, and a player of the match, and then he blanked in Matchday 5. But yeah, like I said, for me, if Netherlands are going to get through and score goals, I think Gakpo is going to be part of that. Mbappe, it's been a tough tournament for him. Obviously, he broke his nose in Matchday 1 and missed Matchday 2. He hasn't really looked himself, to be totally honest with you. I think he is playing with some discomfort, and there is a slight argument to maybe not play him, but for me, he's going to play. He's 68% owned in the game, and for me, the tournament is just waiting for Kylian Mbappe to come alive, and potentially this could be it. It could be the semi-finals. Harry Kane as well hasn't really done it, but we know how clinical he can be, and for me, he's going to want to, I guess, deliver in these big parts of the tournament where he probably hasn't delivered for the rest of the tournament. I know he did get the goal against Slovakia in the round of 16, but really Jude Bellingham's goal was all that kind of game was about. But overall, I do think this is the best wildcard team. You could argue maybe one Spain midfielder out for Kante just to even it up a bit, and you could argue maybe Pickford for Verbruggen. But other than that, I think the rest have picked themselves. But now we're done with the wildcard. Let's get on to my team selection, where I'll talk through my transfers and captaincy choice. So this is how my team does line up for Matchday 6. Obviously, I have a lot of either suspensions or teams and players being eliminated to deal with. So we've got Diego Costa in goal, Portugal are now out. Lenormand for France is suspended. Cancelo is out for Portugal. Bernardo Silva's out for Portugal. Gundogan's out for Germany, and Musiala's out for Germany. So really, I've got 6 players to deal with, and I only have 5 transfers. For me, the priority is to get rid of the outfield players. I think with goalkeepers, I've got one. I've got Jordan Pickford. For me, that's enough. So I'm probably not going to make the goalkeeper transfer because I do feel like it's probably not going to yield me that many points. But the rest of the positions are definitely up for grabs. And we'll actually go through them now, and I'll let you know what transfers I have made. And yeah, we'll go from there. So I will just reveal the whole team because it's only the midfield and defence I've actually changed. And I have made a mistake in what I said in the previous bit of the video where I do get 5 transfers. There's actually 4 transfers for free, but I was actually debating making 5 for a minus, but I don't feel like I'm going to go for it. Like I said, in goal, I'm more than happy with Jordan Pickford. It would be nice to maybe have a Spain goalkeeper or probably to be honest, a French goalkeeper, but for me, I just don't feel like it's going to be the best use of my transfer. And a -4, they've got to keep a clean sheet, make loads of saves, etc., etc. It's just not worth it for a goalkeeper. So I'm more than happy with Pickford. Potentially in the final, if England do go out, then I will make that change and have a goalkeeper. But for now, yeah, not for me. In defence, I have kept the suspended Spain player, Lenormand. And it was a tough decision because I do have, I guess, it's a tough decision because obviously he's not going to play, where I can bring someone in that's going to play. So that's almost a guaranteed 2-3 points with ball recovery. So you could argue that that is a good move to make. However, if Spain do get through, I do have him there already waiting. But I'm not sure whether I want to take the risk and maybe bring in a Mark Gahey or even another France defender or a Spain defender. For now, I'm leaving him there, but that is definitely an option, and it's probably not bad spending 4 points on that when you know you're going to probably get back 4 points. It's just, do I want to bring in a player, say an England player, and England get knocked out and Spain go through, and then I've ended up kind of one less player for the final. But for now, I'm going to leave him in my team like that. Also got De Vrij. Again, I've mentioned it earlier on in the video. He's been so good in terms of ball recoveries for me. He, again, is a massive goal threat. I know Van Dijk is as well, but De Vrij is actually $1 million cheaper. So massive value, and he looks very solid in defence. Cucurella as well, very solid. Comes into midfield, could get a goal, could get an assist. I'm going to keep him in there. And then same with John Stones. Again, very solid. Maybe not as good as Mark Gahey, which is the only issue, but for me, still very good in that England team that I do expect to beat the Netherlands, and hopefully they do end up keeping a clean sheet because I do have Pickford and John Stones. Koundé comes in. Again, I've mentioned him in the Wildcard video. He's been so good this tournament. Ball recovery is ridiculous, bombing up that kind of right back spot, even though he is kind of a centre back, but he's been pretty attacking for France fullbacks anyway, because I know France don't really send their fullbacks up, but I feel like Koundé has been getting into attacking spots. And then midfield, Bellingham and Williams stay. Saka and Olmo come in as well, the same as the wildcard draft. But for me, I've gone for Kante. For me, I just don't know if I really want that many Spain players. I think if I maybe go for Gahey instead of Lenormand, and then maybe go for a Rodri instead of Kante, then I wouldn't mind that. But for me, I don't really want another Spain player. So that would be 5 Spain players, and obviously one's not even playing. So it just doesn't really sit right with me when I know how solid France are and how, I know they haven't played that well this tournament, but they know how to win. And for me, that just doesn't really sit right with me. So if I did want to bring in someone else instead of Kante, then I probably would have to go maybe a Gahey or even another France defender, and then go for maybe a Rodri in midfield, or even a Netherlands midfielder. So, but Kante, still 2 man of the matches to start the tournament. Yes, hasn't been doing that well in terms of points in the kind of last few rounds, but for me, we know he can put in a man of the match performance, and we know his ball recoveries are going to be up there. And then again, Saka and Olmo explain themselves, and I've got the same front three: Kane, Gakpo, and Mbappe. I think at this stage of the tournament, I don't really want to be taking out players that have still got a game and that are still in the tournament. So no chance on that. That's why I kind of said if you did want to go differential with the wild card, maybe you can go for Depay, maybe you can go for maybe even someone like Griezmann, maybe even a Morata. But for me, there's no way I'm taking them out when they're still in the tournament and I've got other fires to deal with. Overall, this is going to be my team. Mbappe is going to be captain, which I don't love because obviously he hasn't shown it at all. But for me, he's on penalties. France have to do better than they've done previously. and yeah, I think Spain are going to give him space. So that's why I've gone for Mbappe, and then probably if he doesn't perform, I'll probably have to go for Kane or Saka. Probably as a Spurs fan, I'll put it on Kane because obviously I don't really want to put it on Saka as an Arsenal player, but he's been very, very good, especially the last game and the first game. But the last game he was carrying England, so definitely Saka is a very good option. Overall, let me know what you think of my team. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm going to be releasing some FPL content, so if you do play FPL, make sure you do subscribe. And we've got some new exciting things coming, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below what you think of my wildcard draft and my team selection. And good luck for the match day. Come on, England.